Hello again, it's Ben here and welcome back to my channel. So today is March 21st. It's the second day of spring and we are here for another video. So what we are going to do today is we are going to chop down our rogue stems over there that we didn't harvest in December, just to have a nice clean field for us for this growing season. And then also we got the results of our soil test back, and our field surprisingly is very low in phosphorus. So I bought 200 pounds of fertilizer to just bring everything up to a nice level. So we are going to do some cutting and then some fertilizing. So hang on and I hope you enjoy. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the results of our soil testing that I got back recently. So unsurprisingly, from the purple color on our leaves and stuff, we thought our field was low in phosphorus, and we were correct. So we got the recommendation for the fertilizer application from the scientists, and they said that we need approximately 30 pounds of 12-12-12 per 1,000 square feet. So I mapped this out and it's about 7,500 square feet. So that gives us approximately 225 pounds of 12-12-12, or I bought just a little bit higher, 13-13-13 instead. So what I'm going to do first though is I'm going to clean up the stems around here because there's still a lot of junk in our field. I want to have a nice clear ground both to apply fertilizer and also for the stems to grow up this year. So I'm going to cut down everything that's still standing, especially over there where those stems are that I didn't want to harvest last time because of all the burrs and stuff like that. And then I will apply our fertilizer and have a nice quick video. So let's get to work. So as I said, we are going to cut down any old stuff that was still standing from last year to try and make a good, nice base for this year. All the soil over here is very soft, so everything just comes up, roots and all, which is pretty nice. So as you can see, I cut down everything that was still standing in our field, so we are ready to go for fertilizer. I just wanted to show you real fast what should happen this year. So year one, obviously we planted some about 8,000 rhizomes in our field here using a tree planter back in 2024. And what you normally see like that year is you'll get like a few stems per root piece planted. So it'll look something like this over here. And then year two, you get a lot more. So you go from, 3, 4, 5 to perhaps 20 or so. And then eventually it will continue to spread and spread until all of these clumps, are a single mass almost. So like the entire field should have this kind of a density to it. So hopefully it'll get a lot closer to that this year. I don't think it'll finish this year since there's still, a few spaces in here and everything, but it should get a lot more dense this year and then even more dense, in the future. So that's what we're looking for. And then obviously I've been talking about my 5 acres of land, so I'm still on the hunt for that. And then hopefully after I fertilize everything here, it'll make some nice strong stems for this summer. And then when I purchase those 5 acres of land this summer, I'm going to come out here, cut down all of the stems if our stem planting study turns out at least, and use this whole field, all of the stems here, to seed that 5 acres of land. And then in a few years we'll have 5 acres that look very, very dense like this, and then we can move on and just continue to grow and capture more carbon. So I'm gonna get to the fertilizing, but I want to show you what we're working with here real quick. So nothing too crazy, I suppose. Just we have 200 pounds of 13-13-13 fertilizer that I purchased at the home supply store basically, and then just a normal push behind fertilizer spreader. So I'm going to do that, get all of this fertilized, and then we can wrap up for the day. So this is our fertilizer here. It's our 13-13-13 that we are going to be applying at about 25 pounds per 1,000 square feet, which is a lot of fertilizer, but that's because our ground was not very good, honestly. The yearly requirements for our crop are going to be a lot lower than that, but this is the one time bring it up to reasonable levels, and then every year it only uses a little bit. So after this it should be much lower, but this is the, you know, big push to get everything well fertilized so it'll grow nice and strong and give us a lot of biomass for the future. This ground is not very flat, so it's kind of difficult to pull or to push this, but we'll do our best. So our field has been cleaned up and our field has been fertilized. So next step is for it to grow. So hopefully in about a month or so, we'll start seeing some stems shoot up, and I can do a follow-up on the stem cutting versus water-rooted stem cutting experiment that I did last year, and just like show you how it's going. So until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. So as you may recall, this is our harvest from this past year, which I spent quite a bit of time on, grinding up again, trying to dry it out and everything. Unfortunately, I harvested it when it was too wet, and it still is too wet to pelletize, so I don't really have adequate drying capacity for this. So I had a fan on it, and like I turned it over several times over like a month or so, but it's still too wet in the middle, and now it's starting to mold, unfortunately. So while that's not the biggest issue when it comes to pelletizing and carbonizing, it just is not dry enough right now. So even though I spent about 30 hours on this and I was really hoping to have a harvest, like a, you know, here's some carbon you can hold in your hand from this past year, unfortunately we are not going to be able to do that. So that doesn't mean this isn't useful though, obviously. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I just fertilized our field, so I'm going to just apply this as a little bit of top layer of mulch to increase the organic content and recycle the nutrients back into the soil. And then this coming year, depending on if I harvest the stems for replanting or for biomass, I should get hopefully 5 times this much or more. So this ends the 2025 season, I suppose. And we are going to apply it to our soil to help it, you know, retain moisture, help it recycle the nutrients, and just protect the layer of fertilizer that we just applied. So I'm going to just distribute this over the field, and then this will end our 2025 season. So it is unfortunate that I wasn't able to make my, you know, own carbon, unfortunately, this year, or this past year, but I should at least make some this coming year, depending on, again, how these stems on this field are used. But this is the end of the 2025 harvest, and we are going to have bigger and better things for 2026 and the future. So like I said, it's a shame, but you know, you have to know when to give up, and this has been a huge time sink for me. So it'll be a good use of it, not, you know, perhaps ideal, but you know, it will be a good use, and it'll help us into the future. So this ends 2025.